rooted solely in the desire to prohibit the council from passing bills that run counter to this mayor's personal agenda, not in any principles of good governance. Second, the commission must reject proposals made by the council's most conservative members to repeal or weaken the city's sanctuary laws, which broadly prohibit city agencies from being used as federal immigration enforcement resources. These policies have enabled immigrant New Yorkers to perform critical functions, such as contacting first responders, reporting unsafe working conditions, and accessing city services without the fear of deportation. As we confront the possibility of a second Trump presidency, I, of course, feel differently after yesterday, the possibility of a second Trump presidency, the commission should be looking at how to continue our legacy as a bastion for immigrant rights, not how to assist the Republican Party's xenophobic goals of breaking up the immigrant families that make New York City a vibrant economic and cultural hub. I thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you very much. I would just like to comment on something. I personally have, this is my third charter commission. I've served on community boards and school boards. I've worked as chief of staff to a borough president where I interacted with council members all the time. I consider many council members friends. We've all served in different capacity. It is striking to me that the speaker would call us not serious, because we are serious-minded New Yorkers. We may disagree on issues. You may not like what comes out of this commission, but we are serious New Yorkers who take this seriously. And I would like that stated for the record.
I appreciate that comment.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah. Yes.
The speaker's comments are not individual attacks, and I know that you know that.
I don't know if I know that.
Well, let me just be clear that the Charter Revision Commission and its swift 2-month process to get in recommendations before the August 5th deadline is exactly what we're commenting on. And so I think the commission needs to take into consideration the lack of due diligence given to this particular Charter Revision Commission in comparison to the other ones that you may have been a part of.
Yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you for coming and giving testimony. I too have served on a prior council charter revision commission in 2018.
I think so.
Yeah. So one, I just want to be clear that this should not devolve into an issue about the council or the mayor. We're not here to either lift up the mayor or destroy the council. That's not what this commission is composed to do. What we have done, though, is to all 5 boroughs heard testimony, various testimony, ranging from all different types of issues and matters that are of concern to the population of the city. And we've taken that and will continue to take that testimony, as we've heard from the council as well, and other professionals and other leaders, about what they believe this charter needs to be, what revisions the charter really needs. And there's been a wide scope of testimony. We've heard about Sanctuary City, we've heard about the safety issues. People have come very passionate, citizens have come very passionate before this commission and given testimony about issues that they're very concerned about. Particularly safety being really one of the major issues that we've heard from on many citizens of this city. And so our job as a commission is to take that testimony, listen to it, and as does the council, and when they do hearings, to take testimony, I'm sure, from citizens and hear what the citizens have to say about whether or not they like the proposals that's being presented or not. And that's what we're here to do, and that's what we will do. I
don't disagree with that. Nothing I said.
Let me finish.
Go for it.
I, with the other commissioners or volunteers, I did not want to spend my summer coming to hearings to debate whether or not the council is right or the mayor is right. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to hear from the citizens about issues of their concern. That's what we've heard. And we'll continue to hear it tonight once we're done with our elected officials. We'll hear from citizens as well about issues that are concerning you. As you hear.
Absolutely, I appreciate that comment. Nothing I said, nor my colleagues have said, has pointed to reject the Charter Revision Commission or to dissolve the Charter Revision Commission. All we are asking for is a much more open version of this charter revision, so that it's not rushed. What's happening right now is expedited, which does not need to happen. We should wait for the November 2025 deadline, so that we are able to take even more contributions from our community, so that more of our people of New York have the opportunity, because it's the summertime. We know that people are in flux during these months in particular. So we should think about what would happen actually if we did this on a much longer stretch, so that communities across New York City had the opportunity to provide testimony, because we're both on the same page. We want to make sure that New Yorkers' voices are heard.
I guess the last thing I would say is, even through this rush process, has been a robust dialogue at the meetings that we've held. And we've had many testimony on many different issues. So I hear your point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Alexa Aviles. We have one of our commission members, and then Councilmember York.
Thank you for your testimony. I'm taken back because you had said our speaker alluded to, or maybe I have it wrong, I don't think so, alluded to, in other words, they don't think that we're serious about what we're doing. Well, I think, and I know that we're serious, and I know because I would not be sitting here wasting time. I am sitting here because I want the city and the communities to know that we're serious, because when you talk about the Public Safety Act, that's why I really came on.
Yep.
Because I lost 2 kids to gun violence. And I'm not just sitting here to waste time. I'm sitting here for public safety and every issue that we need to deal with, that the Charter Commission get it to happen with the community. So I want to say to our speaker, I want to say we are serious. And I know it's not a personal attack, but it is an attack from different people. I'm just tired of hearing a lot of negativity about this commission. And we are all on it. I'm definitely on it. And I'm tired. Unity is definitely needed. Let's fix this city. And let's do the right thing. And our speaker, we are serious. And like I said, it's not personal. It was said to me earlier. It's not personal. It's about saving our young people, saving our kids, and saving our community. Taking back our community and taking back our city. And that's what it's about. Thank you.
Again, no one is disagreeing. Absolutely, no one is disagreeing. I don't want on the record responses that are now attacking our people. I just want to be clear that the public hearings that you all have had been sparsely attended, and specific constituents have attended those hearings.
Bullshit.
So we need to be clear about what's coming up and who's coming to these hearings too, as we've been following as a city council. We all want greater safety for New Yorkers. We're committed to that. And this has been a mayor who has spent much more to ensure that we've got police enforcement across the city. And so no one is disagreeing with this commission that public safety isn't an issue. We are saying, to put it again, for maybe the third time, that we want a longer process so there's richer conversation and dialogue and discourse about what public safety in New York City means. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boo.
Councilmember. And then Councilmember Bankshire next.
So good evening.
Good evening.
Good to see you, Chair Cesura,
Yes, great
and
seeing
to
you as
members
always.
of the commission. And thank you for the opportunity to testify. I did submit written testimony, but I would like to underscore a couple of points. My name is Alexa Aviles. I represent District 38 in South Brooklyn. happy to be here. I think I'd like to touch very quickly on this theme of safety in two particular proposals. And I guess before I get into those, I would just like to say, in terms of the advise and consent, looking at you, Commissioner Grillo, I was so deeply saddened to see you go. And you certainly would have, as an incredible public servant with an incredible track record, have been someone that we would have absolutely been happy to say yes to, because we did, and we enjoyed working with you and your team, as we do with many, many commissioners. So the advise and consent is certainly not a testament to the quality of New York City commissioners. They are incredible public servants, also working under quite difficult circumstances. What we are asking for is a partnership in process, a partnership that says we get to also engage with these commissioners, so that, because we do work for them and with them, because that's the best way to govern, right? Collaboratively, in partnership. No one of us can get this done alone. So our proposal around advise and consent is around collaboration, and it is one that obviously is a tested approach in governments around the world, as in local and city and state governments more locally. Now I'm going to take it back very quickly, because I know you have a full room, to the other proposal. Now, I serve as the chair of the New York City Committee on Immigration, and as chair, I do feel responsible to speak on a manner of proposals regarding New York City's beloved immigrant community, of which is nearly 40% of this city finds its roots in other countries around the world. So this diverse and most important community, and certainly that includes new arrivals, as it does include folks that have been here for 40 years and are still finding their footing with a structure that is so difficult to navigate. And so I have been deeply disturbed to hear comments before this commission around rolling back sanctuary policy. And it is important to note that these policies, sanctuary laws, have been around since Mayor Koch. And every administration since Koch, Republican, Independent, Democratic, has reinforced and continued to improve these policies over, it feels like generations, but certainly over a very long period of time. And what we have seen in the fact, not the fiction and not the hyperbole, and certainly not the fear-mongering, is that sanctuary keeps us safe. It keeps immigrants being able to work with public agencies, being able to claim wage labor, being able to get help when you are in a domestic violence, being able to work with enforcement when you've been witness to a crime without the fear of deportation. And this fear-mongering that suddenly sanctuary, there is a loophole in accountability, is simply untrue. Folks can be held accountable if they commit a crime. What we are saying is we are a city of due process and laws, and everyone has their right to due process, and certainly accountability. And that is happening with sanctuary city laws, because accountability is part of the law. And so I would just encourage this commission to stand right by New York City and immigrants new and old, and lean into what we know is a fact-based sound policy, which is the grouping of policies known as sanctuary. It has kept New York City safe, it allows for accountability, and in fact, it is the humane and dignified thing to do. Now, the last thing, just one more minute.
Please.
My testimony is so long, but I know y'all don't have all day. The last thing I wanted to note is in this conversation, again, under the guise of safety, what we seem to be debating here is whether the legislative process, as is written and as is practiced, is in fact sufficient. Now, as someone who is currently and probably perpetually disturbed by the legislative process, frustrated, not disturbed, frustrated, because it can be so long and so arduous. It was written in that way, and it's been practiced in that way, for good or for bad, because it allows public engagement. It allows deliberation. It allows space for air when things are not making sense. It allows for interrogation and time. So as frustrated as we may be with that process, many councils before us have practiced a very deliberate process of legislating. And this notion that the How Many Stops Act or any public safety legislation did not receive ample public process is quite frankly just not true. As one of the prime co-sponsors, I can tell you, certainly Ms. Jackie, the fact that you were at a hearing that wasn't allowing a public testimony is definitely an unfortunate communication that I would be screaming about too. But there is a wraparound process, and unfortunately you missed the other hearing process. But the truth of the matter is, all legislation goes through such long days of deliberation, both with the administration, and in this legislation, the administration engaged with us over months, if not years. Community conversations that is forming the legislation. Pre-hearing, post-hearing community engagement. The legislative process is sound, it's robust, and I would just please just really encourage the commission to, as we are in this serious process of engaging in deliberation around our city's constitution, that we seriously take out the noise and look at the facts and the merits of the arguments. Because the truth of the matter is, we are not here to debate just because you didn't get what you wanted doesn't mean that we have to get rid of the process, right? And this is a give and take process. This is a deliberative process. So I just really want to encourage the commission to be fact-based, to take your time and interrogate this, because we are all defenders of democracy, and we take our job very seriously for New York City residents. We shouldn't rush. Let's take our time to ensure that we have looked at that the policies that we are going to put forward and the questions to the public are well thought through, are fact-based, and really have full merit behind them. Not opinions and not petty fights, none of that, but really that it represents the serious work that we are all doing for our people in every way that we are doing it. And so I thank you for your time, and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. Council Member Chris Banks.
Chair, are you getting to the public anytime soon?
We are. We're trying to.
Public hearing, but public speak.
And we will get to everyone who has signed up.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Chris Banks. I'm the councilman for the 42nd Council District. And I'm here today to discuss the critical importance of the proposed charter revision. The City Council firmly believes that advice and consent are essential. And when the appointing leaders to some of the most influential roles in the New York City government, it's important. It is imperative that these key roles receive approval from the council. For far too long, we've relied on a single person to make these appointments, which can lead to the concentration of power and decisions that may not always benefit all New Yorkers. This past June, the City Council, in a strong show of unity, voted overwhelmingly to pass a measure that would place before the voters a proposal requiring the advice and consent of the council in the appointment process for 20 additional city agency commissioners. The council is a co-equal branch of government, and its authority should not be undermined by any individual or agency. It's our democratic right and the right of all New Yorkers to have a say in who we appoint to lead the key agencies and help shape the future of our city. We must ensure accountability and transparency in this process. I strongly support the principles of checks and balances, which is why I believe we should move forward with placing this charter revision on the ballot. Let us respect the will of the voters. The residents of the 42nd Councilmanic District sent me here to fight for them, and I'm committed to upholding that promise I made to them. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and please slow down the process. Let's be more deliberative.
Thank you very much. Okay, I do want to acknowledge that our Vice Chair, Dr. Hazel Dukes, is on Zoom as well.